Hello and welcome to another of my dungeon runs, and we're looking at Blood Furnace this time, which is the second wing of Hellfire Citadel to follow up from Hellfire Ramparts last time. It takes place above Hellfire Ramparts inside the tower that overlooks the ramparts. The entrance is on the Alliance side of the Citadel, up a ramp that's on that side. You come to find out in the course of the instance that it's Magtheridon that's entrapped by the Felok sorcery, and they're using his blood to manufacture a new Fel horde infused with his demonic energy. The guiding force in this plan is Illidan, who is now supreme ruler of Outland, after his usurping of Magtheridon. As some of you all know, Magtheridon's lair is one of the raids. Well, it's the raid at the end of the Hellfire Citadel run. This instance around 1.5 times to twice as long as Hellfire Ramparts and has the same number of bosses. 3. Like Hellfire Ramparts, it can be finished by a party of level 60 characters that will take a more balanced group and or better geared skilled players. Advised level is 59 to 68. Killing monsters in here on normal difficulty obviously grants Thwalmar or on a hold rep, as per usual, but that stops at honoured. Heroic goes to exalted though. There's a couple of quests here and there. Heart of Rage, The Blood is Life, and then there's a heroic one as well, but we're just looking at normal for now. Again, it's because it's further inside as opposed to Hellfire Ramparts. It's got this more of this kind of dungeony. I mean, it's a really bad word to use on a dungeon run. This kind of dungeony, insidey feel. It looks sort of like a lab almost, like there's experiments going on somewhere in here. Which I like. That's something I like about it, actually. There's 3 bosses, as I said. The Maker, Brogok, and Kellydan the Breaker. It's a fairly standardised Burning Crusade dungeon in terms of trash and boss kills. It's quite a nice run. It's quite a slightly varied map. The bosses are all quite different. I quite like it, yeah. The music almost kind of makes it kind of weirdly daunting. Like there's something ominous going on inside, which we know there is, as the Felorks have trapped Magtheridon and are being mean. I did this run in a pickup group, except of course Liam was actually with me in this this run. He's the DPS priest. You might have seen him in some of my Minecraft videos with me, or possibly in some of the earlier Mist beta dungeon runs. So yeah, there was some interesting banter going on in the group. At one point, there were some various arguments. An interesting point I've always noticed: the tanks always hate the healers always hate the tanks. The DPS always try and stay out of it, but always compare each other to each other. Say, oh well, you know, you're doing no DPS, and the tanks are always like, oh crap, healer, oh you let me die. And the healer's just like, oh my god, tank can't take aggro. And groups are just generally unstable like this, and I think that's part of the fun of the game in general. Yeah. Liam normally always plays a tank, which is interesting, as he's a DPS in this, on his priest. I'm normally DPS, it has to be said, although later on, this was actually recorded back on the previous patch, 4.3. Later on I actually do try out, or did. It's quite weird doing it in past tense, past conditional, I don't know. Yeah, I did try out Guardian as a spec. Oh look, I dinged level 60. How about that? Flight form. Yeah, I did try out Guardian as a spec later on and tanked for a bit, and one of the later on Outland reviews you'll see me tanking. But then after actually observing just how much damage the DPS, balanced DPS druids did, I just had to turn back. And I found tanking fun. I think it was nicer on beta somehow. But anyway, we'll get more on the tanking when we get there. But yeah, the DPS spec in Mists is very cool on druids. So that was the Maker, that was the first boss. He's got several special attacks, including an instant cast Mind Control, but none of his attacks are too bad if he's taken down quickly. Then everything goes a bit green afterwards, which is quite cool. Also, make sure that you pick up Felorc blood vials if you need them for a quest, and make sure you loot the boss for the quest as well. Yeah, this does have this weird experimenty feel, like I'm in some lab. It kind of reminds me of the Undercity a little bit, which I quite like. I don't like the Undercity. I'm saying I like how it reminds me of the Undercity. I don't really like the Undercity. Horrible place. It completely destroyed Lordaeron. I liked Lordaeron. Not that it was ever in the game as Lordaeron, but I liked it before it didn't exist. If that makes any sense. It was one of the cooler kingdoms. I mean, Stormwind obviously standing strong, but whatever. I'm rambling. None of the trash in this dungeon I find are particularly difficult. Right, coming up to the next boss, which is Brogok, 63 Elite. This encounter consists of 4 waves of 4 orcs each, followed by the boss Brogok. The waves are timed, but will come out early if you finished off the previous wave before the time's up. So if you're not fast enough, you get more waves to deal with, which is a worry. Each wave has 1 more elite and 1 less non-elite than the previous wave. All are vulnerable to crowd control. If you wipe on any orc wave, the encounter resets. If you wipe on Brogok after killing all orcs, only Brogok resets. The orcs don't. So just make sure you get through the trash, and then you're okay. See, in this kind of encounter, I don't know whether these count as trash or adds. Because although the boss doesn't actually spawn them... Oh, we've got a dead tank. That's always a bit fun. Although the boss doesn't actually spawn them... they're still kind of part of the boss encounter. It's not like you have to clear them before, because it's timed and run. I don't know. I don't know why I worry about these things. Most people just get on with it. I'm like, oh yeah, the game's good. I'm like, no. Now, does this classify as this or this? Right, we're taking on another group. Fairly standard fight, otherwise. And I think that's the last wave down now, so... Oh no, one more. Now, out of interest, I don't know if any of you know. If you do, please do tell me in the comments. This creature that Brogok, the boss, is, there's actually quite a lot of them in the game. And I don't know what they're called. And I'm interested to know what they are and what they're about. Because I've got into the lore of the game, but... I honestly don't know. I've seen a lot of them around, certainly in Lich King places, Burning Crusade a bit too, but I honestly have no idea. So yeah, as a kill, it's pretty simple. Okay, coming up to the last boss now. Sorry, this has been quite a quiet one in terms of me. Not been a huge amount to report. Having said that, I do really like this. Oh look, there's Magtheridon down there. If you look, I do really like this dungeon in terms of design and story. Kelladon the Breaker, who's this last boss, really isn't nice to take down. He's channeling the spell holding down Magtheridon with 5 warlocks. He doesn't attack until all the warlocks are taken down. All warlocks aggro at the same time, and they're vulnerable to crowd control. So, Kelladon has an occasional ground zero area effect spell, which is preceded by an emote and a period of immunity. There is normally sufficient time for everyone to get out of range of this effect. There we go. So now just off to hand the quests back in. And that's the dungeon run. I do really like this one. Definitely play through it when you're leveling, if I were you. You'll enjoy it, and you get good XP from it and good gear. So, that's all from me until next time. So join me again for more dungeon run reviews. Thanks for watching.